And we're joined on the phone today by actor and musician Gary Kemp. You probably remember him as the lead guitarist for the band Spandau Ballet, also played with Nick Mason's Saucerful of Secrets. Today we're talking about his new solo album, In Solo. Hey Gary, how you doing today?
Hi, Dustin.
It's great to be speaking with you. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me on.
Well, I know you've got a new album out, In Solo. Can you tell the listeners a bit about the new album?
Yeah, I started writing this when I was on tour, actually in America with Nick Mason's Saucerful of Secrets. I don't know if you know about the band. You know, it's Nick Mason from Pink Floyd, and
sure.
It's his solo project. We play all the early Floyd stuff, and I found myself really sort of liberated as a guitar player and as a singer. You know, and because so much of my life has been involved with Spandau Ballet and our comings and goings and getting back together and splitting up and writing for them. And while I was on the road with Nick, I found it very inspiring, and I ended up writing a lot of lyrics first. I also turned 60, and I think that played a big part in why I was, approaching songs with certain questions that were in my head. Because there's a few tracks that hinge themselves around, I guess, reminiscing or thinking about the past and what relevance it has to the present. Trying to join the dots, really. I started writing a couple of songs like I Remember You and I Am the Past and Waiting for the Band, which sort of looks at not being so strong now. You know, I'm not that guy that was once powerful and fast of foot and sharp of eye, and I just felt that there was a truth in that didn't exist in your average pop song, which is boy meets girl. And it gave me a heart to the album that I could build on.
Excellent. And I saw the video for the single Too Much. You've got Roger Taylor from Queen playing with you. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, man. He's been a friend since the 80s, and I used to know the whole band. Freddie was very close, and that was nice. A lot of people got grounded in the pandemic, and I used that opportunity to get in touch with musicians that I liked, to the friends, and I just said, Dick, I'm making this record. Can I send you the demo, and could you try and fit some time in? And Roger said, yeah, I'd love to do this, and he sent the drums back to me. We put it in the track. Too Much is the only song I wrote during the pandemic, actually, right at the beginning of it, and there was some influence of the crisis on the street, which I talk about, that's in there. But yeah, a lot of people like Guy Pratt from Floyd and plays with Gilmour and with Nick. He plays most bass on the album. My brother from Spandau Ballet plays on the album too. So, there was a lot of nice people that came on. I wanted it to be real musicians. I didn't want it to be full of computer music.
Yeah, I know it's been about 25 years or so in between solo albums for you, Gary. Was it the free time kind of during the pandemic that kind of, everything aligned and made this album possible?
I think it was the writing of it. So I didn't have the urgency to write a solo album. Whatever I was doing with Spandau and forming a family, which I've been doing, and I do a lot of acting. I do a lot of theater acting here in the UK. All of these things took up time, and I think, as I said earlier, Nick, in a way, was my inspiration to write an album. And yes, I was about to go on tour 2020 with Nick again, doing a slightly different tour. And when that closed down, everyone thought it was going to be over by Christmas, right? We're all thinking, 3 months and we'll be okay. So I thought, right, I've got to get on with this. There's some urgency now, and I'm going to make this record. So I think the pandemic did give me the sort of framework, really, of having the discipline of trying to get the record finished, and the time, of course.
Well, now it seems like things are finally starting to open back up. Will you be on the road for the new album? Maybe put a band together for the solo album?
Well, I can't at the moment, I don't think. I haven't really, the very few venues open. I think this album has taken me by surprise. When I finished the album, I didn't have a record company, and then I played it to Sony Records, the global head, and he said, I want it. So suddenly I'm here talking to guys like you, and it's all happening and doing well. I have got a commitment to go back on the road with Nick for the first half of next year. So that's going to be my next live shows. I think I've got to start rehearsals for that in October. But I did put a band together just to see if I could run this album and make it work live. And we shot 5 songs. We did 3 days rehearsal. guys in the band, and that's up on the internet now. I think there are 3 songs of me playing live on the internet, and you can go and watch that. But yeah, I want to play so badly. Don't we all want to go to see a show?
Yeah, most definitely. Again, the new album In Solo is out now, and I wanted to go back a little bit, Gary, and ask you your memories of performing with Spandau Ballet at Live Aid. And that was such a huge event for people my age growing up.
Yeah, it's funny because I think that was one of the greatest days of my life as a musician. I do this podcast called Rock on Tours, which has done very well over here. It's with Guy Pratt, and we interview other people on. We've got Adam Clayton coming on this weekend, and we've already recorded that interview, and Adam says that's one of the great moments that changed U2's life that day, that changed their career. McCartney, who I've spoken to about it, he absolutely, remembers that day so clearly. I think there was a sense of power that music suddenly was changing something. Woodstock tried to change things by dropping out. The 70s were more about protest. And what I think we were doing in the 80s was trying to say to everyone, we're going to give you some power. You can, through charity, this idea, and through music, you can, donate some money, maybe do something that the government wasn't interested in. And it was a kind of big change up, I think. There was a sense of power to the people that day.
Yeah, definitely. And as far as music goes, I mean, there were so many different bands and styles and things on the radio around that time. So it's definitely, cool to just grow up with all that too.
Yeah, I think the second British invasion was happening, and British bands were internationally successful. So I think it was a good period of time when you could do that, because there was nobody on that day from Philadelphia or from London that people didn't know, and there was so many English and American bands.
Well, Gary, I know the new album is just out, but you mentioned your acting career. Is there anything else maybe coming up acting-wise, or any other projects we should look out for?
Nothing that might appear in the States. I did something for the BBC over here, which was a comedy, which was a sort of mockumentary. It was meant to be a documentary about me and my brother, Martin, who was in Spandau Ballet as well. And it did really well, because it's very, very funny. It's very stupid, and we're going to shoot another one of those in the January. So if there's any access to BBC stuff over where you are in the States, you can watch that. But other than that, I love theater really, and that's I like performance. I like being on a stage. I like the nerves that it generates. I like the buzz of the audience. Those beautiful venues. I mean, it's a shame they've all been closed for so long.
Definitely. And again, Gary, thank you so much for joining me. I'm digging the new album, and it's been great speaking with you.
Thanks, man. All the best. Bye.
And again, that was Gary Kemp, formerly of Spandau Ballet. His new album, In Solo, is available now.